Hi guys. So obviously yesterday I got a chance to watch the Oprah Winfrey interview, the same as so many people who obviously got a chance to watch that. Now I have to say, watching that interview, and I'm sure it's the same for many people who watched that interview, had their own opinion on things of, should they have done that publicly as it come across as, for the whole world to know about it, or should they have discussed that privately with the royal family? And I get it, because there's going to be opinions from whether you like Meghan or you're against Meghan, or whether you are with the royal family. But for me, what really resonates with me is seeing that interview. To me, it sounded as though they wanted the world to know what really goes on behind closed doors. And it must have reached at that crisis point for them to have gone through what they've gone through, and yet not to have any support, and not having anywhere to go for support, especially when one is going through mental health problems. Let's not forget that. And I think sometimes we live in a society where we paint a picture what we want people to see, but it's not often what people really are like behind closed doors. Now, saying that, I'm not saying that, everything that was said, obviously it has to be looked into. Everything that was said, it will have to be looked into it and investigated it. But I think for us as the public, one has to question that, because we've been here before. We've been here before with Diana. And I think what really brought a tear to my eye as well about it is the fact that the world was saddened. I remember that day when Diana died. The world was angry at, the media and, the problems that Diana endured throughout her marriage. We witnessed that. We heard Diana. And we were angry that that life was taken as a reason to what she'd gone through, really. Now, we see that again with her own son, who in this interview is presenting that I am not going to allow this to happen again. And I'm here to protect my family. But who wouldn't? Who wouldn't protect their family? Regardless whether you are a royal family or not a royal family. It's so sad to see that this is kind of like a repeat history of what we've seen before with his mum. And it really was sad to see that the mental health is yet not treated as important, or that, when one has to go through those problems, just get on with it. Mental health is the biggest killer right now in the world. Now, all of us as a society, wherever you are, you could be far away from where I live, yeah, but wherever you are, if you watch that interview, or maybe have seen so many people in your life die as a result of mental health, you would want to do something about it. You would want to take some action about it, in a way that it's not bringing people against each other, but it's having a voice to let others know that this is not acceptable. And I think sometimes we all have opinions, and we all have different opinions, which is great. Sometimes maybe we don't know how to deliver those, opinions, and that could obviously have a potential significant impact on that individual person, when maybe what you're saying is a good thing, but maybe the way you've said it is not coming across well, or the other person might interpret that in a different way. So I think as a society, we need to learn on the delivery, on how we communicate with each other. And I think overall that interview as well, it just seems to be what they just basically, that's just my opinion obviously, there's a communication breakdown, and it's very difficult when one lives in that bubble of the royal family. No one knows what life is like unless you are in it. And again, I would say the same for everyone's lifestyle. Like, you don't know what my lifestyle is like unless you've lived in my lifestyle, vice versa. So we don't really know what goes on in people's lives, or especially in the royal family. I would find very difficult, looking at that interview, I would find very difficult to think that Meghan and Harry would make up those assumptions, would create those stories, and that they're not true. Yeah. Why would they create those stories? I think that's something I'm finding difficult to come to terms with, to think that they would do such a thing just to be malicious, or just to get back, at the royal, whatever it is. That I'm finding very difficult, to be honest. I just hope that this situation that's happened is gonna make us revalue at this sort of situation, and look at how we can move forward from here, instead of, oh, I am for Meghan, or I am for the royals, because at the end of the day, those things is what create divides. Yeah, it creates divides, and then it brings more hatred towards each other. I think one has to look at that as, what can we learn from here, and what can we do to move forward in order to make sure that these issues are not going to happen again. Because God forbid if anything happened to, to another person, and then you have to think yourself, well, because we all have responsibility. We all have responsibility to do something to shape the world, or to shape how we see things. And and you can't do that without being hateful towards each other, without insulting each other, And I think besides that, we've had huge problems in this world. We've had COVID-19, let's not forget that. That affected the whole world. And you got to say, well, what have you learned from that? For me personally, I've learned to be more compassionate. I've learned that we all one human race. In this world, we're going to encounter problems, and it's how we deal with those problems. And I think if we look at life in general, or any situation, or whether it's Meghan and Harry situation, take yourself out of that. Take yourself out of, I am for Meghan, or I am the royal. Take yourself out of that and just look into it with open eyes. What do you see? Yeah, what do you see, and what can you do to add value? Not negativity, but to add value to how, as humans, we should treat each other. Because every problem or every situation we encounter, difficult situation, there's something new we can learn from. And that's why we have these problems. We have these problems for nothing. We have these problems to learn from it. And I think as a society, wherever you are in the world, wherever you've been watching Meghan Markle, this interview with Oprah Winfrey, look at it and think, well, okay, it seems like there is a problem. But what can we learn from this? Harry and Meghan may not approach every situation in the right way, or whatever form, how we want them to approach it. And because no one is perfect. No one is perfect. But it's, at the end of the day, is what can we learn from it? And we're talking about serious mental health problems. That itself is isolating, to have mental health problems, and to know that you have no one to go to. I can't imagine. I can't possibly imagine. And the other thing that obviously really, really stuck with me was, it was that question. And I'm sure Diana was probably looking down and is watching every single thing. We loved Diana for what she stood for compassionate, for her care. When those boys was walking behind that coffin, I've never cried in my life so much. I felt that Diana touched you, like in a way that not many people do. She was far away from all of us, but we felt her closeness to us. So when those children were walking one by side, like at such a young age, behind her coffin, that was just hard to watch. It was hard to watch, to know this woman, her life was taken away far too soon. And she did everything to give to the world. She had a heart of gold. And yet, we're now seeing her children grown up, crying for help. And somebody said, I was watching TV a few minutes ago, and somebody said, when I watched that interview, I just wanted to go to them and just give them a big old hug and say, you know, we're here for you. Or, you know, that kind of motherly love. You felt that sense of, oh my God, you know, you just want to hug them. Because sometimes, you know, it's not so much saying, isn't it? Sometimes you don't have to say much. Sometimes people, all they want is that just you care. You know, that love and, you know, and compassion that goes far away. And I think in this world, we kind of lost touch of that, of being compassionate, being understanding of people's problems, and then instead we sort of sometimes go on attack, and it's not always a good result, because by attacking you don't get anywhere, you don't get to resolve the problem, you know. So it is in some ways quite sad that through the judgments that we make about people and assumptions about what we think might be going on or not going on, you know, we don't do that with compassionate, or we don't address it with compassionate, because sometimes, yes, we're always going to make opinion, we're going to have opinions, and that's life, you know. And if we all had the same opinions, the world would be a boring place. You know, and that's why it's okay to have opinions, but it's how you address those opinions matters and can have implications on other people and how they are receiving that information from you. So always be mindful of that. So, but yes, if you have any comment about what I said, feel free to do so. But and I just hope that the outcome of this will be a good result. Yeah, and hopefully that, as I said before, there could be a lesson learned from here, and we could learn how we move forward, you know. Here, well, obviously, I think whether you live in UK, so I do, you know, whether you live in UK or whether you live in whatever part of the world, you know, you would have felt that interview. When you listen to that interview, you would really, it would have impacted on you one way or the other. It would have impacted on you. So yeah, so my final words to this is, yeah, I hope there will be a solution to what's happened, how we can move forward. For everyone's watching this video, what can we learn from this situation? And I'd like to hear, even if you have your own opinion about the situation with Meghan Markle and, you know, the interview with Oprah Winfrey, I'd like to hear what you would say or what your opinion is. As I said, you can have those opinions, but, you know, address it in a way that it's not going to hurt another person, you know. But yeah, so thank you very much for your time, and take care and have a good day. Bye.